Well, good morning, K2M parents. Thank you for watching this video. We're going to keep this one short and sweet. So last night we were talking about Holy Spirit. And Holy Spirit is God's presence here on earth. We looked at God. God is one, yet God is three, which admittedly is somewhat confusing, but we can look at it in this way, and I think this helps. God orchestrates or is the authority. He gives the authority. Jesus is the action, and the Holy Spirit is the power. So, for example, God will say, turn on that light, or let there be light. And then Jesus flicks the light switch, and Holy Spirit is the power that goes through it all. Holy Spirit also connects us to God. So we can have a relationship with God because Holy Spirit is inside of us. We can connect with Him, and this can happen through nature, through prayer, through worship music, through acts of service. So many different ways we can connect to God. But Holy Spirit is, I suppose you would say, the conduit or who connects us to God. Holy Spirit is not it. Holy Spirit is a person. He is a person. He is part of the Godhead. So we just in simplest terms, we don't want to get too deep into the theology of Holy Spirit today. We're just talking about that and what are the purposes. So today the purpose that we're talking about is to connect us to other people. 1 Corinthians 12 verse 7 says, to each a manifestation of the Holy Spirit has been given. That means to every single person that has received Christ in their hearts, they have been given a manifestation of the Holy Spirit. Whether that's whether that's knowing things that you couldn't have known, or being able to prophesy into someone's life. I can give you two quick examples. Someone who I know one time was struggling with their faith, and they said, "Oh, Al, you checked out this movie? It totally disproves God." And I'm just like, "Okay." It's like, "Oh, I don't remember what it's called. What's it called again?" And I said, "It's called Zeitgeist." Now, I'd never heard of this thing before. It just kind of popped into my head. How Zeitgeist popped into my head is, it was at the time it was anyone's guess, but now I know it was Holy Spirit. And so the person said, "How did you know that?" And I said, "I didn't." That's just God's way of showing you that He's real and that He's awesome. So this was a manifestation of the Holy Spirit given to me for the common good, for the good of other people. It doesn't necessarily feel like anything. And this is important to remember. It doesn't necessarily feel like this holy thing, or you don't necessarily get goosebumps or tingly fingers or anything like that. So there's some work going on in the room beside me. So pardon the noise if you can hear that. It doesn't necessarily feel like anything, but it's there for the common good. It's there to help other people. Sometimes you have this when you just pray for someone. It feels like you're just praying normal things, and then afterwards they're in disbelief because how could you have known the thing that you said? And you're like, I don't remember saying anything overly extravagant, but cool. So it doesn't necessarily feel like anyone, but when you have the intention, when your heart is to help other people, God has this amazing way of speaking to you and through you. And you don't have to have graduated high school. You don't have to become an adult. There is no junior version of the Holy Spirit. He is in all believers. So you don't have to be old or young or anything like that. You can just do it. You can just, if your intention is to glorify God and to encourage someone else, God's going to honor that. Maybe not in the way that you think, but it's really neat how He uses our willingness to encourage other people. So what I would like to encourage you to do as a household, if you would be so brave, is to do a Hearing for God exercise. And so how this exercise works is everyone writes down a question. So it's one person's turn at a time. Whoever's turn it is, they write down a question for God. God, why this? Or God, what would you like me to be doing with my life? Or God, what do you think about me? Or whatever question it is that comes into your mind. So you write down the question, and then everyone else spends a minute, 2 minutes, just in silence asking God for a verse or a song or a picture or something. And then you share with the person what you feel like you heard God say. And don't overthink it. Don't think, oh, that wasn't from God. Just say it. Be wrong. It's okay to be wrong. So, and then when that's done, everyone says it to the person. Again, don't feel like it has to be this holy thing. You don't have to have goosebumps. You don't have to have a vision. If you just get a sense or whatever, just share it. And then tell the person, and then once everyone's told the person, then the person says what their question is, because otherwise if they say what their question is first, then we kind of alter what we're saying to become what their question was, and we don't want to do that. We want this to be hearing from God exercise, right? So encourage you to do that. Let me know how it goes.